Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Y'all tired. Like, what's up? Y'all sound mad tired. We logged
I
on
had a long
today
weekend.
late, but it's all good because we're here. What's up?
Yeah,
How's everyone doing? How are you, Gersh? How are you, Lika, Mario, Josh? Also, how are you guys?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Good.
Dang, I gotta get
I'm good.
excited.
I'm good.
I gotta
So
get
I'm
excited. I
good.
don't hear
I'm
no
good. I'm good.
excitement from y'all.
I'm
Like, what's
excited.
going on?
The excitement is gonna come when the conversation starts. But I'm good.
Okay,
Salute to the
well,
panel.
listen, I
Salute to
like to hear
everyone.
that. So, hello, world. How's everybody doing? We are back today with another live. My name is The Mrs. with Affinity Black Network, where we tune in live every Tuesdays at 9 p.m. We tune in live every Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Please come support us, be a part of the family. Come like, comment. Don't just watch. Please subscribe. Okay. We're going to have a good discussion today. The topic for today's discussion is going to be single parenthood. Who has it worse? Part 2. This is part 2. We're going to dig a little deeper today. Yep. Part 2. We're going to dig a little deeper. There's a lot of topics that we didn't really discuss. We didn't get to catch last week. Last week we discussed, having standards for yourself. We talked about self-care. We talked about baby mama pettiness. We talked about parents making mistakes. We talked about being true to yourself. And so today, fellas, we want to dig a little deeper. We want to get to the bottom of things and maybe come to some resolution and possibly take some accountabilities, right? Right, fellas?
Yes.
And, so that's what we're gonna do today. So, fellas, I'm gonna start with you today. When you hear the word single motherhood, what comes to mind?
Like
When you hear people say, "Hey, she's a single mother,"
she's taking care of everything.
okay, so taking care of everything. What about you? What about you, also?
My question is why? Why?
Why? Funny. Okay. Why? That's your question. So you have a question, and your question is why. Mario, when you hear single motherhood, what comes to your mind?
It depends on the context it's being used. Like I just
Okay.
think like Ger said, just
Why are you single?
no, not even that. Not even that. Just like, okay, yeah, you see a single mother, so you have no partner. That's just any context behind it. Because depending on the context, then I have a specific thought.
So what so when you hear single motherhood, you have no there's nothing comes to mind, like she's a single mother. Why is she a
No,
single mother? Or maybe struggle?
not really. Like it just depends. Like I
Is it
said,
just
just more depends
so
on the
you're waiting
context.
on the
Yeah.
context? Okay.
Yeah, like if you saying it as in a sense of like you're owed something, then I'll just that's when I have one specific thought. But if not, if you just single motherhood, it's like okay, cool. So that's more of just like what you have on your plate.
Okay, all right. So Wise, thank you for tuning in.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Hello, everyone.
Okay.
What's
Hello.
going?
So the question today is, when you hear the word single motherhood, what comes to your mind?
A lot of things. Baby father drama.
Oh my
Um,
God.
again, why you a single baby mother? Of course, baggage. A lot of hard work, struggle, things of that nature.
Okay. Lika, what do you think about that? When you hear single fatherhood, what comes to your mind?
I will actually say that what happened to the mother? Where is she?
Okay.
Sometimes I think like maybe the mother just didn't want to be around or something must have happened to her. That's the only way I would think of it, single fatherhood. But I commend single fathers though. So
I agree. When I hear single motherhood or fatherhood, what happened to the people that were once in love? So my question for you guys today is, how did you guys go from loving someone to completely warring with that person? And I want to hear the stories. I want to know what happened. How do you go from loving somebody to just completely disliking that person? Mario, I'm gonna start with you.
All right. Well, I'm coming from an outsider's perspective because I
Okay.
have, I'm married, I have my wife, and we have our child together. So what I constantly see when it comes to that is why it becomes a war is because of perspective. Like people don't put out what they want off the initial beginning. And if they do, they don't accept the reality of whatever the situation is. So like from the sometimes you hear the fella's perspective of like they thinking that's gonna well actually, you know what, this goes both. Like both parties sometimes will think the child is what's gonna keep them together, but it
Mhm.
doesn't. Or so it's pretty much like that's the common thing that you always see. Or even when it comes to or even like different ideas in parenting. Because
Mhm.
it's a if you may disagree with your partner on something for you, it's all right. You could kind of live with it. But when it comes to your child, you kind of have the mentality of like, nah, this is how it's gonna be. So
Mhm.
then it's like all of those transgressions just starts to build up. So that's why I think it comes into like war. Like that's why I've seen, and when I hear stories, I'm like, oh, this is why it's
Okay,
so
so
bad.
from your man's perspective, from your man perspective, why is it that you guys know how to like profess to a woman in the beginning and then y'all have challenges later on? What are you professing? What do you see in a woman when you see her?
Um, but what do you see?
How are you
It depends.
how are you courting a person? How do you get from courting a person? Like how do you get from that space? Like what are you
Again,
doing?
honestly, it's from the beginning. It's like what you want. Like if you just figuring things out, like you just if it might just be a situational thing, then there's really no investment even in the begin with. Like your investment is just to like to just figure things out. So of course, if that's your perspective at first, and then you
Okay.
have a child, that's how you jump levels, and it's like okay, we haven't even figured out the beginning, but we got to jump into this other thing. So you're trying to figure so much stuff at once. It's like anything in life when you're trying to jumble up multiple things. So that's why I always say this stuff like it's a lot of context that's required because like it's so many different circumstances.
All right, all right. That sounds good. So Wise, what are your thoughts? How do people go from completely loving each other to then warring with one another?
Well, for me, at first when I met the mother of my kids, it was like on lust. Nice hair, nice body. Things weren't planned. We got
Mm-hmm.
into it. Boom, the baby was here. I wasn't prepared to
Mm-hmm.
be a dad. She wasn't prepared to be a mom. So it was just constant chaos. You know what I mean? So pretty much the relationship that we had wasn't established based upon, maturity,
Mm-hmm.
uh, understanding of what it takes to create a family. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, just as quick as it took flight, it came down, burnt, crashed. It was a lot of drama. You know what I'm saying?
So
And
what led to that? What led to that?
um, honestly, like when the baby was born,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't prepared. You know what I'm saying? I didn't take it as serious. I'm like, okay, the baby need Pampers. I got you next week. So the mom's like, what? You crazy? I need Pampers now. You feel me? So I'm stressed. You know what I'm saying? I'm unemployed, no job,
Mm-hmm.
shit like that. Fighting, our families that ain't getting involved. You need to get rid of him. He no good. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make it work.
Right.
Like, yo, baby, I promise I'm gonna be a better dad. You know what I'm saying? And you can't win. You know what I'm saying? Because you jumped in unprepared. So that was a learning
Okay.
experience.
Also, what are your thoughts?
Why? Truthfully, sometimes shit just don't work out, right? But then again, it's like when you first deal with somebody, you definitely not looking to have no kid. You just in there for the y'all both in there just to interact with each other. Whatever happens, happens, and then you
Mm-hmm.
you end up having that. You ever having a child, you might not want that child. To be honest, she might not want.
Wait, okay, okay, that's fair.
Sometimes
And so, but is that what took it from being a loving relationship where you knew how to communicate with a person to then all of a sudden there's kids involved and now y'all don't even agree with one another?
it's just no communication. It's just the probably things that happen throughout the years. She might be holding on to something, you might be holding on to something that she said, and things just go a whole left, like, and then now y'all just at each other bickering and all. Now you don't want to take her nowhere with you with the kids. She don't want to take you nowhere with the kids, or you just might end up with a deadbeat baby moms who don't want to do with the kids. Like, think you with all.
So,
Like,
give me your personal experience then, because I want to know, were you in love at one time, at one point in your life?
at the time, yeah. Uh,
Okay, so what was that like?
It was cool. Dating, going out, partying, this, that, and the third. It was cool. Sport, little spending money here, making her feel, making me feel good, make her feel good. And, he got here and he got here, things left. Like, I wasn't going to just break my neck, like, and just like, yo, look, this is what's going to be. I mean, even though that was a part of the plan, like, yo, look, you go to school or do something with yourself, and I ain't got to worry about nothing. She chose not to do nothing, so I was like, all right, you know what?
So that's good stuff. Gersh, how did it go
Yes.
from you being in love? What happened? Tell us your story.
All right.
I mean,
My
'cause I know,
story is
what was it like? What was honeymoon like for you?
all right. Basically, like I said,
I want to know that part because everybody want to talk about the bad stuff. I want to hear the good stuff.
well, I mean, the good stuff was we planned, like I said, we planned out, child. So we had this whole idea on what we wanted to do to build a family. We went on the idea of like getting an apartment, just trying to put everything together. So again, the reality, I mean, the fantasy was things were going to come together one by one by one by one. Not realizing that it takes time for things to come together, come together. So, anyways, with that being said, when in our case, like moves were not being made, then the resentment started to come because it was like I felt that she started punishing me or throwing the blame on me as to why things aren't going the way it's supposed to. With that being said, too, the whole pregnancy was literally in shambles, So
Okay.
we
So when you
wanted.
say shambles, what does that mean?
Well, it's like little things became big problems. She just
Okay.
basically was just like upset with me with any little thing that I did. Shoot, even me myself is like I was upset with her because it was like this is something new for the both of us. So it was like I'm trying to figure it out just like you're trying to figure it out. But with that us trying to figure it out, we clash in heads because we're just like it's a personal thing. It's not even about the baby. It's more just about us because we're not getting along or I said something she didn't like and vice versa, where we're like, listen, let's just make sure the baby's fine because like we just try to make sure everything
Right.
is smooth.
So Gersh, what I'm hearing here is that you also had like communication issues. Is that fair to
Yes.
say or no?
Yeah, it's fair to
As
say.
well. Yeah. So what were some of your flaws?
It's basically thinking that she knew what to do. Just like, yeah, thinking that she knew what to do. Like, oh, this is how we supposed to do things. I mean, at the same, like I said, I was learning along with, but also at the same time expecting like, okay, this is how we're gonna do things. This is how she's gonna do things. So expecting that we both knew what to do. Like I knew what she was gonna do, just like she thought I knew. She thought I knew what I was gonna do.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. So Lika, what are your thoughts on that? Like, what are your thoughts on what they had to say? But before you respond, I know also I saw that you had something to say.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't think nobody really remembered the honeymoon stage like that because I'm 100%. Everybody's
Okay.
the it was cool, and this is how it ended. Like the
Okay.
honeymoon stage at the beginning. That was like, all right, it is what it is. It was great. That's over. But it's all about
Okay.
how
It's
yeah.
all about the drama. Okay, so that what I'm hearing when you tell me that, I'm hearing like the pain was so big that that was overbearing, so you didn't want to remember everything else.
A lot of people's not gonna remember the honeymoon because it's the trauma of what you go through.
Okay.
Of being a single parent, whether you're a male or female, like it's the trauma. You can put your point of view.
So I have a question. So let's say the single fathers. What if the mothers was going through postpartum? Because that also changes females' hormones and ideas and stuff like that towards their kids. Because postpartum is one of the biggest things that women have, where they want to kill their kids or kill themselves or just walk away from everything.
They're just sick. That shit doesn't exist. Maya.
So
hold on.
Fresh, we gotta be up. We gotta hit a nagging. Oh, I don't get no time. I don't.
Okay.
Like we get the same thing. I understand. Got in the house with the baby, but someone outside making money for the baby and for you, and we hear the same thing. Like, yo, I gotta get away. The baby's crying the same way you hear it. I hear it. You might be getting up at 3. I might be getting up at 4. That postpartum, that's just an excuse. My personal opinion.
Okay,
no, I'm with you. I'm with you.
You're with who? You're with Oso?
Yeah, because I would come in and go, listen, I know you're exhausted. I know you're tired. Let me take the baby. But for some reason, she just want to just take the baby. And it's like, let me help. Like, I'm basically here this is my role as well, just as much as yours. Let me do what I got to do. Let me do my part. Let me take her. I would take her and go into the living room and we, just to sleep, just to give her space. But it was like that. Oh, like it's like she didn't want the help. And I'm like, but I'm here. I understand too that she's a first time mother, but at the same time, I'm like, but I'm here as well, And like I said, this, further down the line, that in general, that's what would cause a problem, because then it would be like, oh, you don't help. I'm like, I do help. You act like you don't want the help.
Okay, so everything I'm hearing right now is like a whole bunch of men complaining about what women ain't doing.
I could attest to that.
What happened to the lack of understanding somebody? Like, do you
wait,
guys?
Hold on. Wait.
One at a time. Do you guys not?
Wait, Mara, hold on, Mara. Hold on.
Okay. All right.
Basically, it's like you're kind of jumping that gun.
Okay.
We understood. You know what I'm saying? I was there. Okay. I understood. That's the part of learning. You learn and go, okay, I'm trying to understand what you're going through. I'm trying to understand how to cope with you. I'm trying to understand what to do to help you. But you choosing to not want to because you're in your feelings about how you feel, and you expect me to understand. But I'm like, I'm trying to understand. That's why I'm here. But if you like I said, because that one particular thing is not going your way, you want to give problems because, again, this is not going your way, or again, because we're not understanding at the level you want us to understand. But we do understand. It's just because it's not probably in the way that you want us to understand. We don't understand, but we do.
Okay. You were going to say something, Mario?
Yeah, I was going to say, like I said, because my wife, what she did was when I came home and, I came home, my daughter was already born. She was very open. That's like you going back to what you said, communication. So my personal opinion on that is that's something where the mother, because my wife always says it to all new mothers that she talks to, you have to give the father the chance to be the father. And this is coming from my wife, a woman. So she says, so that's why when I hear that, I understand postpartum is a thing, but I also say that sometimes you have to look past yourself and think of the father, because there is a 2-parent household or 2 parents involved, period. So that's why I said, so for me, I can't, so I'm be honest, I'm not gonna hear the whole, men don't understand. No, because like I said, I've been with my wife for 10 years. And when we had our child, she was very adamant. She talked to me, she explained to me what she's going through, how she's feeling, and let me be a dad. And she says it to every mother. And the most common thing we hear a lot of these women say is, oh, but I don't want to, or he shouldn't. And it's like they're just constantly being defensive and not letting the men be the father. And then next thing you know, you turn around and the child turns 2 or 3, and everything he does, you scold him on the way he does things, and then it's like it just causes friction in the relationship. So that's something that is like you saying, the communication part. That's something that if you need to seek professional help, but you definitely need to let the father in on that, because I keep saying I'm lucky because trust me, Gersh is my brother. I was there for him throughout his whole situation, and also other, other parents, and seeing what it is that the fathers be going through. I mean, granted, of course, as you could say, some of the fathers, okay, bro, try to do a little better to understand. But for the men who are like fighting tooth and nail to understand it, she ain't trying to hear none of that. That's something that's like you cannot like you can't shame the father, and you're not giving him nothing. You can't make blood out of water.
All right, that makes sense. Shelly just said most women don't even understand what they're going through. Are you guys really helping women cope through their situation when they go through postpartum? Because it takes two people to have a child. So are you guys really saying you understand, or are you really understanding?
For me, yes. But let me ask you, what was your honeymoon stage, and did you really go through postpartum, or was that an issue?
Well, let me tell you what my honeymoon stage was, okay? My honeymoon stage was beautiful. All right, it was beautiful. Everything's all good. From my perspective, and a lot of women experience this, is this, right? In the beginning, you guys are courting us, taking us out, maybe paying for a meal or two or three, or 10, possibly, if the woman ain't paying for it, right?
Right.
You eating that, we cooking for y'all. We're putting on our best performance, and you guys are putting on your best performance. Here's where there's a transition, right? Where things change. When it's time for us to have a child, and you guys no longer want to be as present as y'all should be. Now that's when we start to see the real deal. Y'all start.
Which guy?
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm just saying, guys, a lot of women experience this. This is me speaking for our women out there. We have now we give birth, right? Now we're home with the baby. We're taking care of bills. We're not providing. You guys go out whenever you want, come back whenever you want. You are present whenever you want to be present, and we are most often stuck with the load. And so then that's when the complaining begins, because you're free to go and enjoy your life, but we're not just stuck with the child and life responsibilities. We're also helping you guys around the house. Was my honeymoon stage great? Of course it was. But yeah, after some time, it goes downhill. Like, yo, what happened? We're not going out to dinner anymore. What's going on? What happened? Where does the change take place? Wise, talk to us.
Okay, so my belief is that the man is the direct and primary authority. You know what I'm saying? The man does not follow the woman. The woman has to follow the man. You know what I'm saying? And I think that when men these days are trying to give instructions, right, on how to solidify a solid relationship, women take it the wrong way, right? But when you go to work, you listen to your boss, right? Your boss tell you, Keisha, I need you to fax these paperwork. You staying overtime. You don't give your boss an attitude, right? When she's in college, the professor says, hey, he hit you up. You get an email at 11 o'clock at night. I need the essay done, right? 15, 20 pages. She gonna get it done, right? So why is it that when the man says, yo, I don't think you should wear that, that's inappropriate, now all of a sudden the female has an attitude, right? Or, yo, I don't think you should be on social media like that. I don't approve of male friends. Oh, you're trying to be too controlling, you know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like once a female becomes combative, I'm like, man, you know what? Is it really worth it? You know what I'm saying? It's 50-50, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make sure that we get to the highest level possible, and you're becoming like a liability to me, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of times women don't take that into consideration. Every man wants to feel like he has control over something, you know what I'm saying? Not to put race into play, but, Caucasian men, they run countries, you know what I'm saying? They control the dollars, you know what I'm saying? And for a lot of us black men, we have difficulties controlling our household. You know what I'm saying? So, you know,
I'm gonna stop you right there real quick.
yeah.
Carol wanted to know, define the type of man you're talking about.
Talking to me.
She's talking to you.
Define the type of
Define
man.
the type of man you're talking about.
A strong man, a knowledgeable man. You know what I'm saying? A man that could spot danger from far away, keep his family protected. You know what I'm saying? That type of man. You know, a
Okay.
man that's aware of not only his surroundings but the whole world. You know what I mean? So if you're gonna rock over here, like it or not, it's my rules. There's rules wherever you go. You know what I'm saying? I'm not forced. I'm not putting no gun in your head. You know what I'm saying? But if you're gonna be right here, this is how we doing it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like because we live in different times now, women, they want to, you know, we got women in the corporate world, you know, making six figures. But men, we don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, we want a woman that's submissive, you know what I mean? That's feminine, you know what I mean? You know, cook me nutritious meals, you know what I'm saying? So that when I go out into the world, you know, I'm powerful. My thinking is sharp, you know what I'm saying? I want a woman that's gonna help create a clean atmosphere. A lot of women don't do that these days. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, hold on
I'm
one
not speaking for
second.
myself, huh?
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. That's
You
good
know,
stuff. Jocelyn,
I'm
what do you?
speaking for dudes out there. You know,
I feel you. That's good stuff. Jocelyn, what do you agree with that?
Hi guys, do you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. We
Yeah.
hear you.
I'm sorry.
Hear
I'm
you.
like lost. Hi guys. Hi everyone. Because I just came in. So what is it? What happened? Because I'm hearing Y saying a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm like, what is going on here?
Okay, so
I'm ready to
he's
spaz.
saying that men should be the leaders of the world, and Shelly is saying every man is not set up to be a leader. I
I
curse
agree
out
with
my boss
Shelly.
too.
No, I agree with Shelly because every man is not built for that.
Hmm.
I hate to say it. Like today, I went to work and I'm like, I'm out. Deuces, I gotta go.
Okay,
And nah,
Lika,
every man is not set up for that. There's some weak men out there that can't be a leader. That sometimes it's a woman that is like pushing, and the man has no choice but to follow.
Right.
can you
Can you hear
get?
me? I'd like to chime in.
Yeah.
Hi,
If I
Big
can.
Bronx. How are you, Big Bronx?
How
Go
you
ahead.
doing? How you doing?
You can
Yeah,
chime in.
yeah, finally I'm here. I'd like to chime in on that. Uh, to answer that question, I think it's just a level of maturity. You know,
Okay.
when you have a child in the middle, it should automatically click in somebody's brain, man or woman, that okay, the responsibility lies here, not between y'all two, because what happened between y'all two, whether honeymoon, great honeymoon or not, you know, saying some things have to take place naturally, because in the middle of all this, your child is looking at this. They learning what mommy does. They learning what daddy does.
Mm-hmm.
You know, saying now they are like, I would like to say that in saying that, in saying this, I'm sorry, kind of lost train of thought a little bit. In saying this,
Tell us a little bit about your story. Let's hear what you had
oh,
to
okay.
say.
Well, you know, say my story it didn't start with no honeymoon or anything like that. We never
Okay.
was married or anything
Okay.
like that. It's
Okay.
just this is what I'm dealing with. You know, saying when you have there's a accumulation of all, you have a person, you have a woman, like, and this to answer your question, you have a woman that they have a dream. Every little girl has a dream, like a princess, queen, and
Mm-hmm.
it develops over time. Like, oh, I'm gonna have this type of man. I'm gonna, you know, saying it's not much of what they're gonna do to this type of man, but I need this type of man with a crown, good job, six figures, gotta have a car, gotta have all this. You know, saying not even this is a dream, and then it gets aggressive over time. Now, this is the part where women cannot. Some women, from my own experience, do not know how to face rejection. Do not know
Mm-hmm.
how to take when a man don't want the woman anymore, but
Oh,
wants his daughter or son. And
okay.
this is where the pettiness can't come on the women's side or men's side, however sees fit.
Mm-hmm.
But the pettiness come with that, ignoring the feeling of the child that's in the middle. You get what I'm
So,
saying? So the narrative was already set for women. The
mhm.
narrative is already set for men. We are meant to build. We are meant to provide. the minute that a woman cannot do what she was meant to do, how can we provide and build?
We have a Janelle Gage on the on the chat, and she wants to know, all of that sounds good, but every man is not prepared for that type of responsibility. What do you got to say about that?
No, every man is not. I have my child. I was 34 years old when I had my first child. I wanted to make sure that I have everything put together. Everything, my finances, my stay, everything put together before I brought this child into this world. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I dealt with my responsibilities. If I was younger than that, I don't know. I'd probably say to myself, I'm not done with life.
Oh, he froze. Okay, so we Shelly just said that you can't follow a stray dog. He has no destiny. What do you got to say about that, Mario?
Yeah, if someone doesn't have anywhere, no direction, you can't follow them. But keep it in context with the conversation as far as like a child. At the end of the day, if a child takes a team, it takes, like you said, it takes two. It takes two. So even if said father doesn't have no destiny, you still at least have you still want to make sure that you involve him in the child's life in whatever way he can be. So if he's not, so give him the open door when it comes to that. So it's like, in a sense of like, back to what also was saying last week, is if the man can't provide at the moment, Lord's will, the child's going to live a long life. That's just right now. That's not in the future. The future, the father could set the child up for life, their grandkids up. But right now, that doesn't mean that you close the door on the father because, you can't provide, you can't provide financially at the moment. If he's willing to be there, to be like a great father, be at home, take care of the child, and do all the stuff that he's supposed to do that he can do at the moment.
Okay, but let me ask you a question. Are you guys even communicating that? Because sometimes, like, guys go ghost on their children's mother, and they don't communicate that, and they expect the woman to, like, off the top of her head, figure out that they can't even provide. What do you have to say about that, Oso? We can't hear you.
You muted. Muted.
You're muted.
Muted.
You're mute.
No, we can't hear you.
No.
What? No. Why don't you go right ahead and answer that, Gersh?
All right. Sorry, what was the question again?
A lot of men out there, like, geez, I lost my train of thought, but a lot of men out there. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna tell you. I was gonna say. I remember what you asked. It's basically like, is the man able to? I mean, is he communicating that to the mother if he isn't able to provide at the moment, like financially?
Well, I mean, of course, like it is like you said, it's circumstantial. Like, if do you have some that will, some that won't? So you could flip the corner which one you want to decide. For those who do communicate, myself, I will communicate if I can or cannot. And like I said, there's the learning process. Then you have those who don't, no matter how many times it's been brought to their face, like, bro, or, listen, man, like, you have to speak and let them know what's going on. How else are they going to know? You know what I'm saying? And then you have those who do communicate, let them know from, listen, like, I can only buy apple juice to I can buy shit, I can buy her grape juice. But again, it goes according to who chooses to want to communicate, who don't.
So wise. What does why is it that when men walk away, when they or when two people separate, why is it that they usually just leave and leave the kids with the mother, and they come back when they want to, or whenever they feel like it, or they get involved with they just kind of sort of forget about their children? Because that's a lot of our stories.
Yeah, a lot of dudes are immature. Speaking for myself, like, if we having trouble in a relationship, I'm giving you three options. We can stick together and make it work. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to like each other, but we're gonna raise our children like decent human beings. You know what I'm saying? I could take custody.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna just leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the type of guy, like, I'll reason with a woman, But you know, if it doesn't make no sense, like you know, I'm not following no woman's footsteps. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm the leader. You know, we had children together. You want to live your life. We're gonna do this accordingly. Once you start talking about child support or getting the cops involved, I'm you know, forget about you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Forget you and the child. When the child grows up, I'm gonna explain to him what's going on, but I don't have the patience, I don't have the time for games, you know what I'm saying? You know, as adults,
yeah,
you know, we gotta move accordingly. You know what I'm saying? I can't speak for everybody else. All I can say that, you know, that's messed up. You know what I mean? If you know that woman relies on you, you know, you made a promise to be there, you know, help with the daycare, clothes, because you know, food, everything is money. You know what I'm saying? That's messed up. You know what I mean? But if she's fronting like, huh?
Let me just stop you right there because I want to ask the females, the ladies, what do you guys agree with what he's saying? Lika.
Yeah.
I hear wise. I don't agree with what he's saying because why does he have to be the leader? Why can't I lead sometimes? I think it's a 50-50 thing, like especially nowadays. We're not in the 1960s or 1970s where the woman stays at home and takes care of the child. No, women go to work too, so it should be a 50-50 thing. Just same way he could lead, I could lead too. I mean, the woman is the neck of the man, so most of his ideas do come from us sometimes, and we just let them think that the ideas come from he made it up. So why can't the woman lead as well too? Why only have to be the man?
So what are your thoughts on? I'll get right. Go ahead. Also,
you know why sometimes men feel like they're not supposed to. You know why it's staged in that way for us to feel like that, like we supposed to run it. And not saying that y'all cannot run it. Y'all don't know how to run it and be respectful. 90% of females, y'all get in position like, you know what? We gonna follow your lead. I'm gonna do what's need to be done as your backbone or whatever, and support you any way we can. And as soon as y'all feel like y'all this much ahead of a nigga, ahead of a brother, he's this, he's that, he's a nobody, he's a bum, he don't do this, he don't do that, listen, y'all criticize us way, 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 way worse than we would ever say the things that we would ever say about y'all to anybody. Y'all go back to your friends like, oh yeah, he couldn't do this, he couldn't do that.
I beg to differ. Men do the same thing too.
Let's hear what Lika has to say.
People not go back to our friends and bash y'all like that, or go to our parents and bash y'all like that. We be like, yo, listen, I mean, she's slacking, but I'm gonna give her some time to this, that, and the third. Y'all go off. The first thing y'all get into an argument, he be like, yo, I'm out. Know what I mean? Even if he's gonna take her on the phone, the first thing you doing, you calling your bestie.
Jocelyn, I think it has to do with. It's all about maturity. I'm sorry, because I know, like, I'm a teenage mom. Lika's a teenage mom. It was about how many of us, Lika? Like 5 of us pregnant together? 6?
And y'all ain't never bashed each other? Y'all never bashed your baby
Honestly,
daddy?
like, we just let everybody be. And, like, I must say, I have a good group of friends. I have a good, I mean, don't get me wrong. We might have to, like, you still dealing with that? But it was never like, oh, leave him or whatever the case may be. It was never like, I don't know. I would say it was never like that.
Well, let me ask you something also. What kind of women are you referring to?
I'm just saying that I'm not
right. What kind of woman you dealing with that you got to sit here and say that? Because I know for me.
Oh, listen. I know a lot.
Fact.
Don't get me started.
Men do it just like women.
Yeah.
And they worse.
They baby daddies. Like I know a lot
of. Say worse.
I know a lot of females like that, and it's crazy because I might know that this brother ain't worth sugar, honey, iced tea at the end of the day, but I'm like, yo, still, don't do that. You can't do that, sis. That ain't right. You ain't supposed to act like that or say that. This, that, and the third. Let that child find out if his pops ain't sugar, honey, iced tea, or his mom's ain't sugar, honey, iced tea. You don't go bashing them on the phone to your friend while the kid's there or that person. You don't do that.
Which I agree, and piggybacking from last week, that's exactly what I think I said too. Like you, like I feel like you can't be speaking back about your child's parent in front of the child. 'Cause at the end of the day, the child's gonna grow up and see what it is at the end of the day.
Which
You
is
know?
one.
And
But
Well,
that
real quick, I'm sorry.
go ahead, Mario. Go ahead.
No, and I was gonna say your first question on like why some men won't communicate if they're going through something.
Mm-hmm.
That's a prime example, because you know they get so belittled and feel like they are less of a person, less of a human. They don't even feel. That's why when you ask the question, I said again, that's always context. Is what relationship do they even have? Can they even come up to them? It's like, can they even come up to them like, look, right now it's hard for me. I'm gonna be there for the child, the baby. So I'm gonna do whatever. I know you working right now. I'm gonna do that. But is she gonna like hold them down? Be like, all right, cool. To you get off your feet, or is hellfire and brimstone gonna happen where she's just like, you ain't shit, you this, like, where he don't even feel like, man, I can't even be honest with her at the moment. So that's what I say. That's as always, that's that's an example of like why sometimes some men may not communicate.
Right. I guess a lot of men shut down. Sorry.
Hold on 1 second. Janelle says some of us have some whack ass men for baby fathers. You shouldn't bash them in front of the kids, but if the shoe fits, where do y'all agree with that, ladies?
I agree, because I know when the door was closed and my daughter was not in the room, I will bash him. Because it's like at the end of it's like what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? But at the same time, I feel like in my situation, like I didn't, honestly, like looking back, I didn't get the support I needed from him. I got it
like
from
what kind of support? What kind of support are we referring to? Because like every woman's not the same. So had you not had your family there, right?
When it was time to take her to daycare, I had to take her to daycare and still go to work. Although let's just say he was probably sleeping, or just like I can't do it, or I'm not available, and it's not fair. But like I said, I had a great support system. Thank God for also brother, which is my daughter's godfather. Wow. He used to take her to daycare for me sometimes, and that was a blessing, So it's like stuff I don't know. It's stuff like that things that you're supposed to be doing for your child, you're not even doing it.
That's true.
It's like it's simple things like you're not even doing that. And I also feel like, I don't know. I guess I'm not a bum.
Yeah.
I don't want to curse, but I guess I'm not a bum bee. He just took it upon himself to be like, yo, she's good, because I was, from the time I was 16, I was working, I was always providing, and once I had my daughter at 18, I had no choice but to continue working, because now I have a mouth to feed now. So it's like, so I guess in his eyes, or for me, I felt like he probably was like, yo, she's good, like my daughter's eating, and because it was times like he won't call for moms. Do you know if the child ate? Do you know if she's good? Do you no? And I feel like at the same time, how do you sleep? Like I feel like as a human being, not even like as a dad or mom, how do you sleep and you don't even know how your child's doing?
Why? What do you think about what she got to say? Like, do you think that men take accountability for, placing their children in a position where they don't have their fathers around, even though there's a separation?
Yeah, it's very immature. But again, just like how we as men have to take accountability, women have to take accountability of the men that they choose to bear kids by. A lot of times women don't look at the nucleus of what that man is, right? Us men, we do the same thing too. We go for the physical. You know what I'm saying? It's like going into a cell phone store. Oh, I like that phone. How much that phone? 1,500. But that's just the casing. You know what I mean? You gotta ask questions, man. Like me, I grew up in a 2-parent household. My children's mom didn't grow up in a 2-parent household. You know what I'm saying? So that was already a conflict of interest. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to steer her this way. Yo, let's do it like how you know what I'm saying? I seen my grandparents together, my parents together, but she couldn't find value in that because that's something that she never had. And
well, let's talk about accountability for a minute, right?
Accountability, yeah.
Let's talk about accountability. Are you being accountable for all your errors when you are in a relationship with someone and there's children? Are you being accountable for possibly not being there all the time? What are your accountabilities? What are your flaws?
Well,
We could
it
talk
took me
about what women do all day. We could talk about them not,
yeah.
being, not allowing the fathers in their lives. What are we doing wrong what are men doing wrong to contribute
All right.
to?
So me, right? It took me a very long time to become a man. I became a man late. You know what I'm saying? But the
What's
reason
late?
why
What is late?
the reason why I had to cut her off
Mm,
was because situations that made me look like a sucker. Right? Let's just keep it like that. I'm like, hell no. I don't know you. You violated yo. You know what I'm saying? Before I do you dirty, let's keep it separate. You know what I'm saying? So the way that I dealt with seeing my kids was through like family members. You know what I'm saying? Like I haven't spoken to this chick in like over 20 years, but I set up lines of communication in place to be involved in my children's life throughout this whole time. You know what I'm saying?
So what are some of the things that you did wrong? Because we hear everything that women do wrong, but what are some of the things you did wrong?
Uh, I
As,
pimp
as
slapped
far as
her.
as far as,
I put my
as far
hands
as
on
being
her.
as involved with your children, as far as being involved with your
Oh,
kids, what were some of the steps that you took? How often were you involved? Were you communicating, or was your immaturity stopping you from doing that?
you know, I felt like okay, as long as I'm giving them money, that will substitute for the time. You know what I'm saying? Because they're in different states. But as time went on, I realized that um, they needed somebody to discipline them. You know what I mean? Give them structure. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Things that I had coming up. You know what I mean? So it was like a uphill battle. By the grace of God, you know what I'm saying? We brought things up to speed, but a lot of that was due to my immaturity. You know what I'm saying? Like I will admit, you know what I mean? Like I wasn't always the best dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, uh,
We like
you know,
accountability here, right, ladies?
you know,
Yeah, I mean,
you
it
know,
sounds good.
like
It sounds
I'll
good.
be
It sounds good.
like she'll have a boyfriend or whatever, and like she'll call me and she'll ask for like some type of help, and I'm like, what? You got a freaking man, like. Let him do that, you know what I'm saying? Not as far as my children or whatever. So she'll be like, you know what? After you forget about your kid, change, you know, I'm changing their last name or whatever. And I didn't realize that I was escalating the matter. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't being helpful. So now I'm on the phone like, oh yeah, all right, we're gonna see about that. Then the cops get involved, then the courts get involved. You know what I'm saying? So now we're in front of the judge, and this whole time I didn't understand it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm playing the victim, right? So she's in front of the judge like, yo, I need help with this, I need help with that. The judge is looking at me like, you disgust me, right? So the judge is like, yo, how much you make? I'm like, yo, lady, that's none of your business. 1,000 a week, right? So I was still ignorant to this, you know what I'm saying? You know, I ain't paying this. The notices will come. I'll rip that shit up. You know, I'm like, who they talking to? The enforcement agency for years, right? Then one day, I'm going to the bank and all my cards, like all my money was locked. So I'm like, yo, I just try to use my ATM. Like, what's going on? So then the
Can't
bank
use it. That's right.
yeah. So then the bank was like, yo, if you don't pay this set amount around a certain time, we take everything. I almost shitted on myself, right? So I'm like, yo. So I called her. I was like, yo, listen, man, we gotta work something out. What you want to do?
So what you're saying is you taking accountability for the errors of everything that
Yeah,
happened. A lot
yeah,
of
But at the same time, why does it have to be that take that far? Like why do we gotta go to court? And then now it's like, oh my God, $1,000 a week. Like, yeah, this is
yeah.
real
That's true.
life. This is a human being. Like this, like these are things that a lot of people don't realize.
and they don't consider, yeah.
And yeah, like they definitely don't consider it. And even I just saw a comment like, you got to know who you're having kids with, which is true. I 100% agree with that. But at the same time, when you're young, you just seeing like social media. Oh my God, they make a cute couple. Oh my God, the baby's so cute. But not knowing that behind the scenes, it's real out there. It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
And even for formula. Listen, when I had my daughter, it was completely different. I was on WIC. Thank God for WIC. But with my son,
facts.
Thank God for breast, because it was like, boy, you're gonna have all this breast milk here. Because milk is expensive. And I'm 18 with my first child, and I'm 32 with my second child. It was like two different lifestyles.
Yeah. So also you're a single father. So when you hear, that there's a lack of, maturity and all of that, was that your case? That doesn't seem to have been your case. You had to like take on the role of mom and be a father. What do you think about all of that?
Oh,
we can't
Mute
hear
again.
you. We can't hear you.
We can't hear you. You need a better phone. Come back in.
Let's go. Let's go to Gersh. What are your thoughts?
Well, again, different perspective from different people.
From different
my
people,
case,
yeah.
My case scenario is, like I said, I'm a learning father. I was a learning father, still am, but I'm saying at the beginning, a learning father. So I'm figuring out the do's and don'ts. It's okay. You can make the mistake. But like my brother was saying earlier, I was dealing with every mistake I made, I get chastised for it. Like she's not learning herself. So me, I'm doing my part, learning to do my part while doing my part. Okay, yeah, the decisions I made were based off of how she would react. So of course, yeah, were there immature decisions made by my part? Yeah, it was, because it was like, all right, well, if you're gonna act that way, I'm gonna do it this way. But in regards to still having her be a part of our daughter's decision making, but but the way I would react is off the strength of, was off of how she would react. So again, two immature people learning to be parents. So, but I was getting more of the wrath of it because I should know better. And it's like, but you just as well as learn as I am. So when it comes to say taking accountability, yeah, I take accountability for my part of like doing certain things to mature, but in a sense of still being there for my child. I've been there since the beginning, since she was in the womb. Even when we have problems, when we go to doctor's appointments, the tensions was in the air, I still was there. I didn't allow none of that to push me away. I did not at all. You could cut the tensions with a knife, but I was still there. So
I commend you for that. You're a great dad.
You sure was. Every appointment, everything.
So basically, like on my end, I was dealing with a person who would put me down for the mistakes I made, but she can make mistakes and it's okay, because I don't know, it's like, it's okay, it's my world. I can make a mistake. You cannot. You're supposed to know what to do. So again, when you have that thought process and people who's just basically learning, of course, it's going to be a recipe for disaster. But again, did I allow it to get in the way of me raising my child? No. No. But again, for my case, I was still there no matter what. But
so
like I said,
that's amazing. The topic of today is single parenthood and who has it worse. So do you think that your lack of being there every day, as opposed to being there maybe 2-3 days a week, that she may experience a level of hardship?
No, well, for me, I was trying to be there as much as I can. Like I said, when it came down, if it was up to her, or when it's up to her, she would go, or again, she would take our daughter. I would be there. You understand what I'm saying? I would be there. And again, it had to be her rules. If I wanted to go, okay, like example, if I was like, I'll come pick up my daughter and bring her to my house, for some reason, it was an issue to do that. I had to be there at her parents' house to be with my daughter. So it's like, it had to be her way. Again, did I let it get in the way of me and my daughter? No. Did I not want to be there? I didn't want to be there, because I'm like, I can bring her to my home too, and I could bring her back. But that was always an issue. So I always was there. I was always there.
I think, honestly, I feel bad because once again, girls, you're a great, you're an excellent dad. And I lived it. I seen it with my own eyes. And as a female, like I don't understand. Like if a father wants to be there for that child, why not allow the father to be there? Like I don't know. I just can't put it into words. Like
agree.
I would love for my daughter to have experience, all the stuff. Like, I come from a two parent home. And like I said, last time, my parents are still married to this day. They're gonna make 46 years this year. And it's like, and even like when, like, say my husband takes on our son to like an amusement park or the park and whatever, and I'm like, oh my god, like, I remember, and I always say, like, I remember when my dad used to do this for me. Oh my god, my dad, and then I'm like, wow, like, I don't know. I don't, like, if I didn't have a father, I don't know how I would feel because I never experienced that. But going back to what I was saying before, like, I don't understand, like, when females, like, why take that away from the child? If you guys are not together, then oh well, like, so be it. But allow your child to go with their
have
dad.
the experience of having both mom and dad.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Lika, what are your thoughts on all of this? Like, this is crazy. It's heavy.
It is heavy.
Out there suffering, wanting to see their kids, wanting to be a part of their lives. And, sometimes we can be the queen of petties, us women, but we can be, because that's heartbreaking to hear. But what are your thoughts on, like, what's going on? Like, because that might not have been your experience. Maybe you probably wasn't the petty one. Maybe the person you had children with was.
I had my share games of being petty, but it was like some minimal things and not in front of the kids. Like, I want to piggyback up with Johnson. When it was time for us to, talk about our children's fathers, we did it where we all get together like once in a blue moon, have some drinks. Some of us were smoking, and the kids wasn't there. It was only just us there talking and letting it out. Or sometimes we'd be like, oh, can I come to your house and speak to you? Or are you busy? And we'll either go outside and talk to each other. So that was our way of bashing our children's fathers when we was ready, But we never did it in front of the kids. If the kids are there, we all locked up in the room while the kids is in the front playing in somebody's house. But to go back to, if it's hard, I don't think it's hard on. I think it's hard on both sides. If single mother and single father, because one, the child is missing the If it's the father side, he's that child's gonna have a void because of the mother. Mother side, that child's gonna have a void because of the father. And they need both parents to, step up and show that child how to love and how to operate from both parties, both sexes.
No, they don't.
Yes, they
Why?
do. Yes, they do.
Why? Tell us why. But let her finish first. Let her finish, and then you tell us why. Go ahead, Lika. Sorry.
No, it's fine. No, they do do know their parents. Both parents. Sometimes it might be for closure. Sometimes it might be just to get an understanding of who they are as a person. So you can't say no, Mr. Oso, like that. Your child does need his mother.
Also, why do you think they don't need both their parents?
No, they definitely do. That was a joke. They definitely do.
I mean, because don't you guys see that kind of sort of that affects the children? Because at the end of the day, the ones that suffer the most are the kids. I remember when me and my kid's father split up, and my son was like, we split up when I was 2 months pregnant. Okay, so that was done, right? And I remember my daughter being like 5 years old, and she said to me, she was confused, but I didn't know that she was confused about what was going on. And I was young. I was like, what, 23, 24, 27 or 26 when I had my son. And she asked me, is he the same dad? Is he the same father? And I had to sit there and explain certain things to her because she didn't understand what was taking place. And two people no longer together, she doesn't see that union in the household. And I think sometimes we forget to talk to our children. We forget to explain situations to our kids, of course, to their understanding. And also too, I don't think that, well, it seems to me like parents bicker so much that they don't take the time to talk to their children. Are you guys talking to your kids when there's like a split up with the mother? Or are you guys exhibiting like frustration?
I
When
mean, I would say with my daughter's father, I was more frustrated. But it's more for myself. It's more because, you know, like I said, my dad was always in my life. You know, I still have them. Thank God. So when it was like you know, break up, or like he was just doing him or whatever, I never see myself raising my child around another man. So that was really hard for me. That was the hardest thing to do. Like, like, I never experienced it, I never lived it. The only man I know is my dad, you know. So it's like, now it's like, oh my God, like we're not together. Then I have my husband, like, you know, a man that loves me from, you know, from the time we met. And it's like, what do I do now? Like, you know, like he's treating me so good, and he's doing this and he's doing that. And it's like, how do I bring my child around you? Like, how do I raise this child with you? Like I was just lost. I was just lost.
Mario, how do you explain to a child, uh, you know, because it's a child, right? Um, Adult situation, separation, like from your perspective, like outside perspective.
Um, you
When a child is when the parent is petty or childish, how do you navigate that? How do you work around those? Like, what do you do? How do you what do you talk about?
honestly, you kind of do it like some training wheels on. Like I
Hmm.
would, you know, my perspective is you tell them like, you know, things aren't going really well right now. When you get older, I'll explain more to you and try to answer their questions, so that way, you know, you give them their boundaries. Like, hey, I'm going to answer, but these things. That way they can kind of like be in loop, because you don't want your child to start resenting you because you're thinking you're protecting them, but you're actually hurting them by just like leaving them completely in the dark. So
Hmm.
it's it's very difficult. It's no like straight answer like, oh, you got to just because something like that. I'm like, you know, that is difficult, because like you just if one of the parents supposed to take their kid to the park on Saturday, but that parent, you know, was too busy turning up on Friday night, you
Hmm.
know, you could just say like, mommy or daddy isn't available today, because, you know, just something, because no matter what, the child's going to see it. The
Hmm.
Right.
child's going to see it once they get to a certain age. So
And
you
they
don't,
feel
so
it,
you
and
just
they
let
feel it.
them,
Yeah.
yeah, they feel it. So you just kind of like you just beat it, and you put in double the work, but you still kind of have a little bit of a dialogue with them. That way they don't start resenting you because they feel like you're lying to them. So I know
That's
it's kind of a
good.
roundabout. I know it's like a real roundabout answer, but that's honestly like the only thing I could think of. Like if I had to, you know, advise somebody, like, this is what you could do, because you don't want to just, unfortunately, you know, like back to the comment, like, oh, if you know, just paraphrasing what somebody said, like, oh, if the father ain't shit and the shoe fits, you know, why does it matter speak in front of the child? But you just, I don't think that's your place to do that. Let the child have their own, you know, they let the child come up with their own thoughts.
Uh, Also, how did you deal with that? How did you explain situations to your kids? Separation. You said peace.
That's it. Pack them up. Listen, I ain't got time to argue with you. All right, listen.
Wait, what?
No blood for none of that. Listen, what you saying? All right, listen. The next time you decide that he's coming back here, it won't be that. I'm gone. Like I'm not dealing with that. All right, go ahead, have your fun. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'll be all right. I don't have time for that. The energy, like, but if see my last three, it's been a long ride, and we decided to call it listening because the things wasn't going according to plans. And I was like, you know what, you go ahead with your life, and I got them. But my first one, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
we ain't got time to argue, no conversation. I'm up out of here.
But
Don't even worry about it.
do you think that's doing like a disservice to the children?
Nah, I did my child a favor.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I did my child a super favor. When I say actually, I gave him a whole blessing.
Okay.
Like,
Oh, and why do you say that? Because some
because
people think that children need both their parents. So why do you say
both
that?
they I just know that side of the family, and I know if my son would have just been on that side, I would have walked away. My son won't be who he is today.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Literally,
Agreed.
Yeah.
literally.
Mm. Wow.
I
Wow.
got the whole. outcome of a person's family. Like, oh damn, I really had a baby with this. I could have walked away and been like, you know what, it is what it is, but that wasn't in my blood. My mom didn't raise me that way, even though my pops he didn't raise me that way, but my grandfather definitely raised me that way. So I was like, nah, you know what, I got this. Like, I gave her plenty of time to get herself together. Yo, listen, do your thing, I got it. You know, enough said.
Wise, what do you think? I want to know your thoughts.
Um, just do what a parent do. Show your kids you love them. Hug them every day. Try to see them as much as possible. Or a few things that I used to do when my kid's mom would keep them away from me. I would just pop up to the school early in the morning, right? While she dropping them off, hey, 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 right? After school, same thing. You know what I mean? Call them, reach out to family members. Just be involved. You know what I'm saying? And if you do have the opportunity to have them, hold them tight, take them shopping, take them to the museum. Help them with their homework, read bedtime stories, do what you got to do.
So, yo, that all of this stuff was really, really, really good. We went a little over our time.
We
About to
chilling.
go
I know, I
over.
know, I
About to
know.
go over. I got one question for
Go ahead,
everybody.
go ahead. Let's
Right?
take it away with your
What
question.
what if you can go back 10 years now, or how, what your daughter, son, probably like 15, 16, 7. All right, the age you had your child, if you can go back right now, what would you do different? What would you have done different?
Jocelyn, Lika. I guess we can all answer. Go ahead, Jocelyn.
I don't think I don't think I'll be a mom.
Okay.
And that's a great support. But it's like I felt bad because even when my daughter turned 2, but before she turned 2, I was still in high school basically when I had her. So basically, my father made my mother quit her job just to stay home to watch my daughter while I graduated out of high school.
Wow.
So So my family took a lot of sacrifices too, and my father was like, "Don't worry about it. I'm gonna take care of the family." So big up to my dad, yo. That's why I love
Big
him.
up, big up to your dad.
There you go.
What about you, Lika? What would you
Um,
have done differently?
I'm like Johnson. I would have been a mother. I would have lived my life. I would have graduated from college early, on time, I should say, and have everything planned out for my kids that I wish I had planned out now. Instead of having kids early and then you struggling and you have the back and forth baby daddy drama. I think I would just have did everything different. Just go to school, get my career, travel the world, um, and become a mother later on in life.
Yeah, yeah. Well, for me, I like to say that we all love our children.
Of course.
Our children are a blessing to all of us women here. But myself included, like I probably would have thought about things a little bit more. I probably would have been a little bit more selfish because when us as mothers, or myself, and I'm sure these two ladies as well, when you have children, you devote your life and you commit your life to your kids, and everything you do is with your kids in mind all the time. Single fathers and fathers that want their children, I'm sure you guys walk around with your children on your mind all the time. But I definitely would have focused more on myself, the things I want to accomplish, because it's tough out here, taking care of children, taking care of family, and I probably would have done it differently. But looking back, I mean, now seeing my daughter, she's 15 now, she's amazing, she has a great job, she has a job now. I get to watch her develop, and I think I'm grateful to see how things have changed from that then to now. So, but we're gonna take it away because we are out of time. Um, Lika, what's the last thing? Do you have any last words?
For the record, I do love my kids, even though they get on my nerves.
So do I.
So if they see this, they're gonna be like, "Oh, you didn't want me? No, I wanted you, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I would did things differently."
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I say try to, for me, I should say, I try to be understanding when it comes time to their father and show love to him, no matter how much how I feel like he gets on my nerves or I don't feel like talking to him. I try to do that for the kids' sake. So try to at least be on the same page with the other parent, just so that the kids could see good.
Gersh,
That's
any
it.
last words?
Take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of your child.
Exactly.
Self-love. Remember, your kids feel your energy. If your energy is down, they'll be down. So remember, they're you. They're you.
Yeah. Mario.
Just tell people that your child comes first. Your child, when you have a child, is no longer what I want, what you want. It's what the child needs or the child wants. So, like, however you feel, if you feel a type of way, they feel a type of way, none of that really matters. Just, just do your best to raise the best child you have and bring a functioning human being into this world.
Why? That was good.
Yeah, man. Just live life. Don't let life live you. You know what I'm saying? Always be optimistic. Pray. You know what I'm saying? Be thankful. You know what I'm saying? Put yourself first. This is for all black men. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't understand our plight. You know what I'm saying? We are a friend of no one in this world. You know what I'm saying? So we have to care for our mind, for our health, for our spirit, and just stay active. You know what I'm saying? Stay active. Teach your children, guide them constantly in the right direction. Being a parent don't stop. You know what I'm saying? Being a parent is a 24-hour job. You know what I mean? If you could call your kids or you could hug and kiss your kids right now, do that. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
Good.
Most definitely.
Listen, just be there. Just be there for the kids. Be there for the kids. If they're old enough, they have their own phone. Text them at a decent time. Cause I know some mothers could be petty and be like, the time or whatever the case may be. But just be there for your kids. Love on your kids, regardless to what. Listen, life is short, man. Life is short. We don't got time for the BS.
Also,
excuse me.
You can forget, but you can't forget. That's all I got to say.
Yo, that's good stuff. Yo, I want to leave the panel with this little thing here. It says communication to a relationship is like oxygen is to life. Without it, it dies. Okay, so let's communicate with our loved ones, with our children. Let's stay connected. Let's love on our children. Let's stay present. Let's check on our kids, and let's be responsible adults. Be mature, and we gonna leave it with that. Everybody have a good night. Thank you for checking in with us.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. See you later. Thank you.
Yes.